Hello, my name is Jack. Welcome back to my vault. 1,100 people lived in a town in Georgia. By 1920, almost none of them were left. 40 years later, the government built a dam over the same land. Today, 11 million people visit the water that covers it. More than 200 have died there since 1994. Some estimates say over 500 since the lake was created. Most people online say one thing happened here. The government flooded a black town to erase it. That is not exactly what happened. What actually happened might be worse. This is the story of Lake Lanier, and the vault is now open. Late 1800s, Forsyth County, Georgia, a town called Oscarville. 1,098 black residents, most of them freed after fighting in the Civil War. They built a community, farms, a school, churches, small businesses. By the early 1900s, they were thriving, more successful in many cases than their white neighbors. That created tension in the surrounding county. White farmers were struggling. They blamed black landowners for their losses. On September 5, 1912, a young white woman was found dead near Oscarville. The sheriff arrested 5 black men within days. No real investigation, just arrests. 3 men were charged: Robert Edwards, Ernest Knox, Oscar Daniel. A white mob did not wait for a trial. They dragged Robert Edwards from his cell, lynched him in the town square in Cumming. Ernest Knox and Oscar Daniel were tried by an all-white jury, convicted, executed. That was just the beginning. A white terrorist group calling themselves the Night Riders organized. They burned black churches, burned black-owned businesses. Over the following months, not days, months, they systematically drove out every black resident in the county. 1,100 people, gone. By 1920, Forsyth County had almost 0 black residents. It would stay that way for nearly 80 years. Black families were informally banned from living there until the 1990s. Now here is where the story online gets it wrong. Many videos claim the government built Lake Lanier specifically to flood Oscarville and erase the black community. That timeline does not hold up. The expulsion happened in 1912. The dam was authorized by Congress in 1946. Construction began in the 1950s. That is a 40-year gap. By the time engineers arrived to build the dam, Oscarville had already been an empty, mostly white area for decades. The land black families once owned had long been sold off. Government records show the people paid for that land in the 1950s were white residents, not the black families who originally owned it. Those families were long gone. The lake did not erase a thriving black town. A mob had already done that 40 years earlier. So why does the myth feel so true? Because something else is true. The Army Corps of Engineers bought 56,000 acres, relocated more than 250 families, moved 20 cemeteries and the bodies inside them. But not every grave was found. Not every structure was cleared. Roads, house foundations, parts of a racetrack, a small auto track that once existed knew the area. They are all still down there. In 1956, the Chattahoochee River began to rise behind the new dam. Within a few years, an entire landscape disappeared underwater. Streets that people once walked, homes where families once lived, all of it still sitting on the lake floor, exactly where it was left, untouched, unmarked, forgotten by everyone except the water. Lake Lanier opened to the public. Boats, beaches, 11 million visitors every year. Most of them have no idea what is beneath them. Since 1994, more than 200 people have died in this lake. Some estimates put the total since 1956 at over 500. Some say 700. Drownings, boat collisions, electrocutions, people who simply vanished and were found weeks later. In 2023 alone, 3 men died in a single weekend. Officials say it is the underwater debris, old roads, fences, tree stumps that never fully decayed. Visibility near 0 in most parts of the lake. Sharp drop-offs where the lake bed falls away without warning. But locals tell a different story. They say the lake remembers what happened on its shores. They call it cursed. And the numbers, even officials admit, are hard to fully explain. In 1958, two women drove off a bridge into the new lake. One body was recovered. The other was never found. Years later, boaters began reporting a woman in a blue dress, standing near the water dusk. They call her the Lady of the Lake. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the facts remain. A community of more than 1,000 people was violently erased in 1912. 4 decades, the dam buried what was left without fully clearing it. And for nearly 30 years, this has been one of the most dangerous bodies of water in America. The myth says the lake was built to hide a crime. The truth leads to almost the same place, from a different direction. The crime happened first. The silence lasted decades. The water came later, and it never finished covering it up. The vault for Lake Lanier is now locked, but the next secret is already waiting. Subscribe to enter the vault. My name is Jack. Keep your eyes open